questions of the project was is the knowledge of pregnant women concerning birth preparedness and complication readiness. We were to what is the perception of pregnant women about birth preparedness and complication readiness? What is the proportion of pregnant women having birth preparedness and complication readiness plan? And what is the attitude of pregnant women about the birth preparedness and complication readiness plan? Those were the research questions of the project. The general objective was to assess the knowledge and perception of birth preparedness and complication readiness among mothers attending antenatal clinic in Medina Health Center 3. The specific objectives were to assess the knowledge of antenatal mothers concerning birth preparedness and complication readiness, the attitude and perception of antenatal mothers about birth preparedness and complication readiness, and also to determine the proportion of pregnant women who had a birth preparedness and complication plan in Medina Health Center 3. The problem statement, according to United Nations interagency estimates from 1990 to 2015, the global maternal mortality ratio have declined by 44% from 395 deaths to 216 deaths per 100 live births. This translates into an average annual rate of reduction of 2.3%. Well impressive, this is less than half the 5.5% annual rate needed to achieve the three-quarter reduction in maternal mortality targeted for 2015 in Millennium Development Goal 5. According to United Nations report, Kenya is rated among the 10 most dangerous countries for pregnant women, which highlights the trend of maternal deaths from 1990 to 2003. It indicates a little bit. Yes. It indicates that in 2014 alone, 6,300 women in Kenya died from pregnancy-related complications. About other reports estimated up to 8,000 a year death. According to Kenya's 2008-2009 demographic and health survey, between 1,000 and 1,200 women died during delivery per 100,000 births in northeastern Kenya, compared to nation rates of 488 deaths per 100,000. Moreover, 68% of women deliver without assistance of a skilled medical profession. The research methods that were used, a cross-sectional study was used for the study. Data collection was done using a structured questionnaire. And just to make a clarification, it's not every client that was entered in the study, but we used a systemic sampling method where every 9th client was selected. That is, every mother who was pregnant, a pregnancy of less or equals to 28 or 36 weeks of pregnancy, who attended ANC and consented, was included in the study. The sample size was 309 mothers.
Dr. Eric, I'm really sorry to interrupt you. So I wanted you to bit slow so that everyone can understand you.
I can be a little bit slow.
Louder and clear. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, let me start again. Okay. The research method of the study.
Okay. Yes, Eric, proceed on. Thank you.
Yes, the research methods used for the study, it was a cross-section of study was employed. Data collection was done using a structured questionnaire. Just to clarify, I was clarifying here, not every client that was entered in the study, but we used a systemic sampling method where every 9 client who attended ANC in the facility with a pregnancy of less or equals to 28 weeks to 36 weeks was selected for the study. The sample size of the study was 339 mothers, and Microsoft Excel and SPSS version 16 was used for analysis. The results were as follows. The study shown that the birth preparedness among the study population of 339 in Medina Health Center to be 18%. Yeah, this percentage was low as compared to other studies done in other regions in India and also in Uganda. Jerome in 2012 did a research in Barara district in Uganda, found a higher level of preparedness of 35%. Though they studied only 4 aspects of birth preparedness. These were not studied 6 aspects of birth preparedness. The Pearson correlation coefficient was used to show the relationship between knowledge of birth preparedness, education, and religion, and the number of ANC visits. There was a significant positive relationship between knowledge of birth preparedness and complication readiness and education. The relationship was 0.05 with a p-value of 0.00, which is low, and it shows a positive relationship on the study. There was also a significant negative relationship between education and religion at negative 155 with a p-value of 0.004. In conclusion, education and religion are shown to affect birth preparedness and complication readiness in the study area of Bura Medina. This study shows that most of the women who had their first ANC visits during their 20th and 32 week of gestation. According to focused ANC, the first visit should start actually at 16 weeks. So, and this early initiation of ANC enhances early detection and management of complication, detection of existing diseases and treatment, promotion of health and prevention of disease, and birth preparedness. That's according to Babla 2004. Conversion in the study was the most known danger sign during pregnancy at 33.8%. The least known danger sign was breeding at 22.1%. This was a vice versa of a study done in Kenyatta National Hospital by S.M. Mutiso in 2008. That shown breeding as most known danger signs in pregnancy, mentioned by 64.2% of the respondents. In this study, most women believed that breeding was a natural occurrence. The knowledge on newborn care, eye care was the most known aspect at 33%. Yes, exclusive breastfeeding at 31.3%, dry and wrap 27.7%, and cord care 26%. These values as compared to the birth preparedness and complication readiness, as compared to knowledge and danger sign of birth preparedness and complication readiness, they were a little bit high. And this explained the low position the woman is given in the Somali community. The health of the children is considered regardless of that of the mother. Yes. According to, we also did Cronbach alpha was used to determine the reliability of the scales for the attitude and perception on birth preparedness. The reliability of the subscale score for the attitude and perception of birth preparedness was 0.756, that's 76%. And according to the Cronbach Alpha, the reliability coefficient of 0.7 or higher is usually acceptable. So the scale was acceptable for this study. Below is the references, and in conclusion and recommendations, the study noted that low levels of education and religion had a positive correlation and negative correlation respectively towards low levels of birth preparedness and complication readiness. Although awareness of the concept of birth preparedness was low, the recognition of key danger signs in pregnancy was comparatively high. The recommendation was to sensitization of birth preparedness should be done among women, and the quality of antenatal clinics should be improved. The level of education among women should be improved. That's the end of my presentation.
Mr. Eric, thanks for the wonderful presentation. So now it's the question and answer session. So I request all the attendees to post your questions. And Mr. Eric, you can go through the chat box and answer the questions.
Yeah, there is Adelaide who is asking, why is breeding the risk danger sign in the study area, bearing in mind that hemorrhage still remains one of the leading cause of maternal morbidity and mortality, especially in Africa. Yes, I've highlighted. According to the interview we did, many women never responded to breeding, since they saw it as a natural occurrence in the study. Yes. So yes, it's a major danger sign, and hemorrhage it's a leading cause of maternal mortality. But in the study area, people believe that it's a natural occurrence when a woman gives birth should bleed, according to the interview that we did to the women that participated in the study.
The above chat, you may also share the questions.
There are other studies.
So above that, you can see two more questions also. So why is bleeding and least danger sign in the study area, bearing in mind that hemorrhage still remains one of the leading causes of maternal morbidity and mortality, especially in Africa?
I think that's the question that I've been answering, yeah? Where the women stated that they saw it as a natural occurrence. Yes.
Okay.
The other question that I'm seeing is, why is there a high rate of birth unassisted by healthcare workers? Is it due to most people being in remote areas? Yes, according to the article, the place is a remote area, and also there is a lot of traditional medicine being practiced. Most women are attended by traditional birth attendants, which in the study we listed those women as attended to non-professional attendants, because the traditional birth attendants are not trained, and they are not even registered by government to do the work.
Mr. Eric, there is another question as well.
Yes, there is a question by Idris Muhammad Yaqub, who is asking what religion was commonest in the study. The most common religion is Islam. Islam is the most Islamic is the most common religion in the study area.
Other question, was the finding conclusion related to early marriage?
I didn't get the question.
Was the finding of conclusion related to early marriage?
Was the finding of conversion related to array.
Idrish Mohammed, you could see in the chat box the question from Idrish Mohammed.
Yeah, was the finding of conversion related to array marriages? Yes, this research, I think it never took a consideration of that. It can't answer that question. I think more research should be done so that the question can be answered in a more evidence-based way. Yeah.
Okay, other question. Is there an effect in siblings as well?
I didn't get it.
Will there be an effect in siblings? Mr. Eric, it's a question from my end. Will there be an effect in siblings?
Okay. I'm not getting you.
No, she's asking like, what would be the effect if the preparedness is being for a particular child, and is there any effects on the siblings?
Bad preparedness on the yes, of course there will be bad preparedness. There will be an effect on the siblings.
Okay, so can you quite elaborate it?
I'm not getting the question very well.
Okay, so we are coming up with a question in the chat. Can you please first answer that?
What is being done? Okay, there is a question by Raphael. What is being done to promote birth preparedness conducted by medical personnel in order to reduce the maternal deaths in the area despite being a remote area? Yeah, one, government has enrolled free maternity care, and also it's also have put in place community health workers to mobilize pregnant women to visit ANC and also to deliver in hospitals. That is one thing that I have documented in my article. Yes, there is the government has introduced free maternal health care since the time of ANC to delivery, whether it's C-section or it's spontaneous vaginal delivery. It's free by the government.
There is another question, Mr. Eric. How was the maternal death rate due to bleeding? Question from Mr. Eric?
Breeding was 18%. 18%.
Okay.
18%, yes.
Next question. How can the religious barrier be overcome to improve in BPCR?
I think it's via education. It's only education that can be done by the government to mobilize, especially religious teachers, to teach it in the mosques and every gathering that maybe women can hear it from, especially in the mosque and women groups. I think more education should be done in such forums so that to put the birth preparedness and complication readiness issue on the table so that women can understand better the importance of it.
Okay, Mr. Eric, I believe there are a few more questions. You can still answer them in the chat session. So as per now, we'll wind off the question session and we are moving on to the polling. So now I request all the attendees to rate the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Eric, for your wonderful presentation.